Good evening. I'm Joe White, and you have found your way to Masterwork Foundation's A Life in the Arts. And this evening, we have Nicole Maniez, who's a board member and representative of one of our community arts grantees this year, the Flemington DIY. And so we're going to be talking about that and Nicole is going to be walking around DIY and showing us some of the work that goes on there, which sounds really exciting, if lo-fi, as she just said, but that'll be fine. And so to get started, though, our very first order of business is to have our executive director, Todd Whitley, tell you a little bit about Masterwork and what we do.
Thank you, Joe. The Masterwork Music and Art Foundation has been around for over 60 years, supporting excellence in the arts throughout that time. Today, we offer three levels of awards. There's a premier award that goes out to an artist or organization, a $10,000 gift. There are community arts grants, as Joe just mentioned, and there are some competitive awards. Masterwork also offers free classes online and this series here, A Life in the Arts, where we celebrate people and organizations that are dedicated to the arts. So we're very happy to have Nicole with us tonight, representing an organization that has been granted a Community Arts Awards, and to also excited to learn more about it. So thank you, Joe.
Okay, so Nicole, um, I have questions here, which I will do some of and make some others up and whatever. But the first question was, so Flemington DIY has been around since 2014, it says here.
Mhm.
And how'd you come to be? How did you get started?
Yeah, so Flemington DIY got lucky. It was a group of young people in the Flemington community that were given a space through our Flemington business. It was called something else. Now it's called Flemington Community Partnership. But we basically got a space for $1 a month. And, the mission was the same mission that we have now, but it was to bring arts into the Flemington borough area. And the idea from the borough was that, bringing arts in is going to help with economic development of the whole community. So we were in that space until the past year when we moved here. So we had a nice deal going for quite a while.
Mm. So hopefully the rent didn't go up too much when moving to the new place.
It did. The rent did go up, but it also forced us to get our systems down, and we're a 100% volunteer run organization. We do have
Mm.
our nonprofit status, but having everyone be volunteers is also can be a challenge because we want it to be a sustainable organization.
Yeah.
But we've onboarded some more volunteers, and it is becoming more and more sustainable in that sense. So it's forced us to expand and have more people join us. So that's been an upside.
Well, that's good. I,
Yeah.
I actually have your mission statement here. Inclusive art space that engages the community with the burgeoning local arts scene, inspires social change, and invigorates the economic development. Um, that's a tall order.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of the things I love most about Flemington DIY is that I feel like since its inception, it started with basically a few like punk rock kids wanting to create like a very DIY space. So it was always very low overhead. And it's transformed into more of a multi-generational space where access to the arts and promotion of the arts has always been at the forefront. And from the start, we've run into trouble sometimes because we stand so close to our mission. So we're always trying to promote access and equity in our community and also around the arts.
Mhm.
So not always the most comfortable conversations, but really important conversations that we're having in the community and also making space for in our community.
Mm. The other thing that is close to my heart, I have been for many organizations over many decades. The one guy who, when no one else knew how to make the flyer, no one else knew anything about graphic arts, and I didn't know anything either, but I was willing to go try to figure it out. And so uh, it seems like I always wind up being the one doing that. I'm finally having for my own website for my business. I think it's time to go pay somebody who knows what they're doing, um, other than trying to learn it as I go. But printmaking is something. It's a wonderful, wonderful art form and a wonderful thing to encourage. That I mean, uh, when you talk visual arts, generally people think of painting, and that's wonderful. But there's other things too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a painter, and I like, I like seeing skilled artistry. But what I love about printmaking is that it is so accessible. It
Mm,
allows people can make, like, high end kind of fine art with a lot of process involved and a lot of different um, processes. Or we can go on the other end and make it super accessible for people so that they feel like they know that they're artists. They know that they can create stuff. They don't have to study, oil painting for 10 years in order to make a piece that's visually interesting or expresses something that they're feeling. So screen printing is such a nice way to get people in a space to easily show them a process that can be very simple and have them be successful at it.
mhm. Well,
Yeah.
when we looked at when the board at Masterwork looked at your submission for our community grant, we just thought this is something that not everyone else is doing, and that it was that's why we wanted to encourage and help you with it. Um, and this sounds like a good cue for you were going to try to walk around and show us some things.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me flip. Let me
Let's
see
do
if I.
that.
So we're in our gallery space here that
Hmm.
is quiet, but so we're coming in. Here's DIY's Print Club, and it's
Yep.
kind of closing down for the evening, but we have some information up here of how to do things. We have our last printer of the night. Maybe there's two. Getting ready to print something. Tommy, say hi.
Hello.
Hi
We
there.
got Brian. Brian's hiding. We've got another friend over here. But so we have a bunch of space that we've made here for different printers to have their printing. And then we started off with these, which are like very portable,
Hmm.
so that we could take them and move them around in our old space. Now we have a more secure table. And then here's some of the art that we've made over the last maybe like 2 months or so. That's up here on the wall. So a lot of people like to come in and make t-shirts.
Yep.
Some people come in, this was somebody's like their parents' birthday or something. So sometimes people come in and do things simple like that. Here's a little comic that somebody did.
Hmm.
There's somebody who does a series of bird kind of comic things. So it's
Okay.
fun to also see people kind of continuing with a theme. Ethan, who's one of our print techs, this is a theme that he's been kind of working on. I think this is his too.
Yeah.
For like a few years since we started Print Club.
Hmm.
So it is fun to like see people continuing to work on different images. And
Mm.
here's a bunch of screens that we need to wash out here.
Yeah.
So this is all our DIY stuff too. So this is our washout that we
Right.
made ourselves.
Okay.
So we're hoping to actually use your grant to upgrade our equipment.
Okay.
Is a part of it too.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
And,
So here's our little dark room, and this is where
oh, you have a
this is
light
our-
table.
that's
Yep.
our current light table, but it takes about 8 to 10 minutes to burn each screen.
Mm.
So we're hoping to get something that's a little bit faster so that we can make work quicker and serve more people a little bit more easily.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you're closing down, but it's still busy.
Yeah. 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 And we just had
That's
another
great.
group in here too. It's a neat space because there's a lot of different groups that come in. We have everything from jazz shows to like we're actually going to have a homeschool print club that starts on first Fridays of the month. We just had a knitting club that was here. So there's a lot of different activities that are happening in the space that we're in now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I was just thinking is that it's also besides just the learning of the techniques of printing, the other thing is actually you're a resource for the community for events and things that people want to promote. So that ties in really well.
Yeah. So people will come in and, print t-shirts for something that they're doing for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're definitely doing that. And what I love about this space too is it's all about collaboration.
Yeah.
So I grew up in this area, went to high school in this area. Never thought I'd come back, but here I am, and it's a beautiful place. I don't know why I fought it for so long.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
um,
I kind of have the same relationship with Morristown where I grew up. So,
right? I think a lot of us must have that
yeah.
relationship.
And I wound
But
up in Connecticut, but it's okay.
it's so fun to come back to the place where you grew up that you have, kind of a more deep understanding of, and bring arts and bring
Mhm.
community in that sense, and try to fill that hole for
Yeah.
people.
Well, this is something that I live in Ridgefield, Connecticut, and we're a very artsy community. Besides everything else, we're the smallest city in America that has a full professional symphony orchestra
Oh, neat.
and three theater companies yet. And so, we have a lot of stuff, but this is something we don't have. I mean, we've got the guys who'll, print your sports team T-shirts, but that's not the same thing somehow. But so this is a really wonderful. I mean, it's both a facility, both a resource for your community, and also a chance for people to find new ways to express themselves, and that's great.
Yeah. And I know for myself as an artist, like being able to just be around other people making art is inspiring.
Yeah.
Being able to share what you're making, get feedback on it, all of that is really important, I think, for people's development.
Well, another time you should come on and share some of your painting. Uh, but and we can maybe do that at some point in the future. Um, the I guess the other thing how did you deal with that? Because collaboration spaces had a lot of challenges during, well, I mean, wearing a mask isn't going to interfere with making prints in the same way that it interferes with, say, the New Jersey Choral Society, who we talked with last week.
Mm.
Um, Singing through masks, I don't think is the optimal way to make music, but it where how were you able to cope with that, and how did you kind of dance with that particular set of challenges?
Yeah, well, we definitely were closed down. We didn't have in-person things for quite a while. We just started having them again this past spring.
Hmm.
But we did do some online things. So we did do a few online art shows where, we asked people to submit related to a theme, and then we would do artist interviews, kind of similar to this.
Hmm.
So that was fun. That was a way to get around it. And it also, we we ended at our old space during COVID, and we started in the new space now that things are a little bit more open anyway. There's a
Recovering
little
from
bit more
COVID,
access.
yeah.
Yeah. So that time also let us, kind of rethink, like, why are we doing this? Do we want to keep doing this? Again, we're 100% volunteer run. What are our funds? How are we going to make it sustainable when we're paying rent? We're paying more than $1 for a space. So that time allowed us to really kind of dig deep and help us reaffirm our commitment to what we're doing here, and allowed us to, again, find some more volunteers. We have fantastic volunteers. It really is a group effort here.
And well, that's interesting because in a way that's actually a positive outcome
Yeah,
from this challenge. It's not, it made you have to do something you might not have done otherwise.
it definitely did. And there was definitely moments where I was like, maybe we've done this experiment as long as we can,
Yeah.
and what's beautiful about being in this being part of a group of people is that, when I was saying that, somebody else was like, no, we're going to keep doing it.
Right,
So we
exactly.
kind of had the opportunity to balance each other out depending on where our kind of energy level was and what our vision, what we believed could happen. But, the space that we're in now is a beautiful space to show artwork. It's a beautiful space for, jazz bands to play and punk bands to play. And, we're really lucky that we found this opportunity.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question is, so, people will be seeing this from all over the tri-state area and who knows where else, but we have one recent interview that we have hundreds of people who've watched, but I mean, it's not a fair comparison because it was the last interview given by Robert Lupone,
Mm.
Who passed away this summer, who's a major theater person.
Okay.
But the so what's the best way for somebody to find out about what you're doing, to keep up with what you're doing, to find out who's playing and, and who's
Yeah.
showing?
Yeah. So we do have an active social media. So you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Flemington DIY. And then we
Okay.
also do have a website that we were also lucky to have a design firm kind of grant us some new logo, which was something that we did during COVID. They're also helping us now with our website a little bit. But on the website, you'll see a calendar and you'll see a bunch of beautiful images and flyers for all the upcoming things we have. And we seriously have so much going on here. It really is a gift to the community. And I think that one of our biggest challenges is getting the message out that
Right.
that this space exists and that all these different programs exist that, different people might be attracted to. So we
So
also
it's
appreciate you. Yeah. So FlemingtonDIY.org.
.org. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. So that's a great way to
yeah,
also check out.
what I'll try to do is in the closing slides, I'm I need to learn more YouTube because I know there is a way to actually make that link clickable, but I don't know what it is. I know it
Yeah.
exists. So
Yeah.
I'll try to figure that out so people can find you directly from that. And
Yeah. And
thank you.
we're always looking for artists and musicians that want to play here or curate an art show too. So
Mm.
we're always looking for folks to come in and share what they love to do also.
This is a wonderful facility, and Flemington is lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you very much. And Todd, he does another little brief thing talking about what's going on with Masterwork. But thank you very much, Nicole, for showing and sharing us your wonderful space and the wonderful activities going on there.
And thank you so much for the opportunity and for the grant. And we promise to put it to very good use in our community.
We have no doubt. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right.
Nicole, it's so great to meet you.
You too.
For everyone else, if you want to stay informed about Masterwork, visit masterworkarts.org or follow us on Facebook or Twitter. We have a premiere award announcement coming up shortly. Very excited about that. And the rest of the fall series of A Life in the Arts. You can read more about that on our blog, excuse me. And thank you, Joe. Nicole, we do hope you come back so we can find out more about your work as an artist.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to do that. Okay, so this has been another Life in the Arts, and everyone have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.